Hello everybody out there, and welcome to another episode of the Talk That Talk Show with me, Barry Holmes. And we're here for another episode of the Talk That Talk Show, and we're actually here on a Saturday night because I have a special surprise for you guys. Most times we have it, on our Sunday or Friday night, but I thought it was too important when we have the opportunity to bring you guys a special guest on the show to give you guys an emergency episode here of the Talk That Talk Show. Big shout out to everybody who's tuned in on our Facebook live stream. Also, everybody that's tuned in on our Instagram and YouTube. But, the real big thing about this Talk That Talk Show is how I've been able to blend, my personal love of bowling with this love of podcasting as well. And, you can go to any bowling alley and you'll see somebody wearing a Talk That Talk Show jersey. And that means a lot to me. And, one of the things that happened last year was Woodbridge is closed down. And that was one of my favorite nights to bowl with my family. And, we didn't know what we were going to do, if we were going to have to disband the team. And, I talked to this person and, he made it possible for us to keep the family team together. And, this place always has a special place in my heart. I filmed my 100th episode here. Majestic is a place that, I held one of my first 200 averages ever here. And, it's definitely helped me to, increase my game and to try and help my game out being here. And, competing with some of the best talent that we have around. So, I definitely want to bring this guy here on this show to, highlight this place because I love it. And you guys are going to find out why I love it. So big on time shout out to my boy, Tommy Martino.
How are you, buddy?
Good, man.
What's going on?
I haven't recorded here since the 100th episode, man, but I'm happy to be back.
I got my signed shirt. If I had known this was going to be a surprise, I would have wore it.
I forgot I had to get a signed shirt. But I mean, for people that don't know, I think the great place to start is, how long have you had Majestic, and how'd you, kind of get into the whole owning a bowling alley?
Yeah, so my dad picked this center up in 1991. It was my senior year in high school, and before that he owned. Back in the day, in 1973, was his first bowling center that he owned called Hill Lanes. It was in Old Bridge.
Okay.
And he bought that a week before I was born. So I was pretty much born like onto the lanes, as you could say. I can remember my mom, well, I don't remember, but my mom tells the story that she almost had me in the car after bowling one night on the way to the hospital. So it's a funny story, but it's been in my family for 50 years now. He owned Stelton Lanes in 1988, remodeled that place. Got out of that, ahead of the game, and was able to pick this place up in 1991. The owner that he bought this place from also owned Woodbridge. Couldn't make the deal on both places, so he was able to make the deal just on this. So from 91 to 2000, he had the bowling centers, both bowling centers, Hill Lanes and Majestic Lanes. Right after 16 years old, 15 years old, I started as a porter and just started from the bottom and worked my way to the top. Went to college in 95, 96, graduated in 97. So right after high school, I graduated in 92, went to college for 3 or 4 or 5 years, actually 5 years.
Hey, I was on that.
I would have liked to run that to 10 years, but he was cutting me off after 5. So, as soon as I graduated, I started at Hill Lanes and started here, and I just, I worked endless hours through the week, worked 80 hours between the two places, just something, that was a thing with my dad. He's like, if you're coming into this industry, you have to know everything about it. So he tried to push me off to California to go get hired out there. Mm-hmm. And I just was too much of a Jersey boy, so I wanted to stay here. And I was like, look, you gotta help me out, man. I want to work for you. So he's like, all right. So I started right away after college. Nights and weekends, that was the big part. Like if I was gonna miss a weekend, he was gonna get upset. Like that's when you were busy, that's when all your bowlers were here. The league bowlers were, the league bowlers were still around, but they started to, through the 90s, it started to fade off a little bit. The sanctioned bowlers started to drop, so he was nervous before they came out with the FEC side of bowling.
Okay.
So through the the late 90s and the early 2000s, I worked between the two places. I bowled in multiple leagues, got to know a lot of people, worked the weekends, built relationships with people. That's got a lot to do with where I'm at today, like the relationships that I build with people. I don't, I take everyone that I meet. I cherish every relationship that I meet. Some aren't good, some are bad, some are great. People like yourself keep me motivated and keep going. In 2007, I had the opportunity at a partner that was an older gentleman, and he knew I put the time in, and it was kind of like I put an ultimatum on the table. It was like, look, I felt like I was going nowhere. I need more from the company. I put a lot of time in, and I feel like if you guys aren't going to make me a partner, I'm going to have to move on. And this was a big part of our family. This is what supports our family. So my dad was like, well, he had a partner who was 10 years older than him, so he was looking to get out, and it was good timing, and he made me a great deal, and I was able to buy in. And then a few years later, my brother bought the other percentage, so it was 25%, 25%, and my dad's still 50%, and that's where we are. My dad's still a behind the scenes guy. We always joke, we always say that he's the best micromanager out there. you know how dads could be.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was just knowing the business, just always promoting. That was another side of it. When the leagues were falling off, you always had to try to turn people, open bowlers, into league bowlers. I used to argue with league bowlers all the time. They're here bowling, and then you get a customer that's down there looking for a bowling ball, and they're yelling and screaming and hollering. And I'm always like, guys, how are you going to turn these bowlers into league bowlers if you're yelling at them?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it was a little bit of an educational thing for all of us, and try to get the bowlers to realize that there are other bowlers out there that would like to join the league, but they may not have been doing it the way we do it. And that was another side that I had to learn, to try to turn open bowlers into league bowlers, and always promote the sports side of it. I believe that this industry has always got to have a sports side to it.
Oh yeah.
Just like any other sport. The kids are always always want to strive to be on that professional level. So if you can't offer that with league bowling, and why we have such a strong league base here, is for that reason. The youth is always the future of any sport, the future of our sport. So we're always trying to promote to the young bowlers, the high school bowlers. It's such an up and down industry that you're always trying to turn open bowlers into the guaranteed league bowler. But it's a tough fight, because the longer the league gets, the more people get turned off with staying in for 36 weeks like that. Yeah. So you started cutting the league in half and doing 2 18-week halves, and drawing people in for the second half. So there's always ways to promote the leagues and keep people going and motivated. And that's a busy part of my day or my week, that I'm always thinking about what's the next step. You always have to find the pivot point in something that you're doing in order to keep the people coming. And the reinvesting is what has been big with us and with my father. And he's like, we're the last guys to get paid. We put a lot of money back into the place, and we do that with the league bowlers, participation. So yeah, our lineage may be a little bit steeper, but it's not going into our pockets. It's going into our pockets last. We're always updating. If you can't reinvest in your business, then you're not in business for the right reason.
You're 100% right.
I believe in this sport. I believe in my bowlers. I believe in a lot of stuff, and I just know that in order to feed my family, I know the future is, with league base and keeping the doors open. And I deal with a lot of irate customers once in a while, and I'm sure we'll talk about that, what happened on Thursday night.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to admit something, had happened, but you don't know what happened. You want to just keep going with that? I can keep talking, man. I can talk that talk.
Well, I love it. Well, we can definitely get into what happened Thursday night, but I definitely want to, highlight some of the positives that is this place, Majestic. And I will say this, and you spoke a lot about, just how much you care about the league bowlers and just bringing in and introducing the sports side of things into it. And I think one of the biggest things that we can say, and the biggest accomplishment, was you hosting the state tournament here. I mean, one of our greatest memories with me and my pops was him telling Ronnie to rub some dirt in a finger injury at the state tournament. But, you know, not everybody gets to host that. And I think that, you know, is a testament to just how well you try to take care of this place, man.
Yeah, that was, you know, we were always we always felt like we know the product that we give. So when the organizers, USBC, you know, they come around, they shop around, but they get to us and they were always turned off by our lineage rate because they thought that the bowlers wouldn't pay it. And our argument was they'll pay it if they're getting a good product. So we always stand behind our product. We always strive to be the best with what we do. Customer service, we have an open door policy with everybody. Anybody can have my phone number. My wife knows, she understands that this is how it is, and you know, this is what she married, and I'm always there to answer somebody's questions or fix the problem, you know. And I'm not the guy that'll say I can do it and won't do it, or vice versa. Like I'll tell you that I can't do it, or yeah, I can do it, and I'll get it done, you know. So that's another reason that I love to do what I do. Going back on to, I'll just bring it up, Thursday night.
Okay.
You know, we had a little incident in the league. You know, there's general maintenance that gets done on the oil machine all the time. We're busy throughout the day, every day now. Actually, we're one of the only centers around that, you know, in this area within 10 miles, and you know, people come bowling in the afternoon. So we're not the house that oils during the day and just says, all right, this is what's out there for our leagues. It's not the way it works. We'd rather leave the last night shot out for the open bowlers and let them come in and bowl and have a good time. But then when it comes time to catering to our league bowlers, which we have quite a few of them, I mean, almost every night we're running 40 lanes a league here, except Saturdays. You know, that's
and that's for people that say bowling is dying. You come to Majestic and you'll see that it's not dying now here for sure.
Yeah, listen, that's a strong part of our business, and you know, so we don't oil until the league is supposed to start. The maintenance that the machine gets done is behind the scenes. You don't see that. It looks like it's running right. When you oil all 40 lanes and you look at the lane, you can see that there's oil on it. You walk the back end part of the lane, you make sure that it's stripped. Those are the two most important things that you look for on the lane. But when you're running 40 lanes a league and it starts at 7 o'clock and you get your last lane done 10 or 15 minutes before the league's supposed to start, you don't let anybody bowl on the lanes before that. You just get right into practice. So we give the 8, 7, 10 minutes of practice, whatever it is. And, you know, guys realize that there could be a problem, but it's most of the time it's across the whole house. The problem is that we don't see that when we look at the lanes. We look for those two things. We say, oh, great, you know, that's what it's supposed to look like. And we start bowling. You know, when somebody says it's hooking up my feet or it's doing this, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what to say, but at the same time, I'm in that league. So I do sense that there may be a problem, but I can't pull that lane machine out, fix the problem, and then oil 40 lanes again. We won't get started till 9:30 if the league starts at 7. You know what I'm saying? So it's if I diagnose the problem with the machine. So you don't realize that we all bowled on the same condition. There was a lot of talk at the end of the night. Naturally, you always hear, you know, I'm one to always protect this place, so I try to keep a level head when it comes to certain things. And a lot of guys know me. If you know me, I'm going to take care of it. I will fix it. That shot won't be there the next day. I came up the next day at 10 o'clock in the morning. We ripped the machine apart to make sure it was running right. And to be honest, everything we saw was on point. You know, something might have glitched out. I don't really know, but there's millions of running parts in this place. So unfortunately, we all had to bite the bullet that night and figure it out a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
And I think that, you know, on the other side of the coin too, where we had a situation last year with Pops where we were at the shithole that was Greenbrook, and they had a similar situation where the oil machine had broke. And what happened was I guess the center had told us before, they had told us, and we, as a league, they voted to say whether we should continue bowling or just skip the week. Me and my dad were one of the only people that voted to still bowl, but long story short, we got outvoted and they wound up, you know, not bowling that week. And for me, I felt that was shitty because, you know, we have to drive 30, 35 minutes to Greenbrook just to then get set back. I think that's crap. So to that point, for those people that would have wanted that, I mean, for us to shut down, you got to think about all the people that are from New York that take that toll to come over here. So, I don't think that shutting down or not bowling was ever an option. So,
yeah, that wouldn't have been an option here either. We just listen. They were at the end of the third game. They were 279s and 269s.
I had a clean 211.
Yeah, listen, were the eliminator cuts and some pots low? Yeah, but you know what? There wasn't a lot of people complaining about it. They knew they had to adjust. A few teams that lost that night definitely complained about it. But
we didn't complain.
Right, you might have won. I don't know.
Swept. We
Definitely took a sweep. We put the brooms
and we
out.
swept as well, and I felt bad, but at the same time, I'm on both sides of the fence. I see what the customer sees because I'm a bowler as well, and I also have to try to figure out how I got to feed my family. So there is a line of business and there is a line of enjoyment. So I do understand the customer most of the time. For the most part, I think we give a great product. Like I said, you're always dealing with me, my brother, my father. You don't get that at the corporate side. And it's my dad's been in multiple Hall of Fames. He was just inducted into the State Hall of Fame, and
shout out to him, man.
Yeah.
That's nothing light, man.
So, we're doing something right, and I hope to continue to keep the bowlers that we have and keep it growing here. And when something happens, we just take the heat, and people have to know that we're going to make it right.
And I think this, Tommy, like for me personally, I just took that Thursday night as a huge learning experience because, to a point, and we can kind of go into the comment a little bit later. But to your point, you can be fucking up a house shot and shooting 230s and shooting 240s. I mean, going up until Thursday night, Tommy, I felt like the man. I was shooting 658 at Carolier.
Yeah.
I was killing it. And then you come in a Thursday night, we're in a situation where you throw that first ball in practice, like, oh shit, this is gonna be that type of night. I
don't mean to cut you off, but I'm just thinking about that. There's doing this as long as I've been doing it. I've noticed that people have more fun. I know a lot of scratch bowlers and sports shop bowlers don't want to hear this, but the average bowler has more fun when they're bowling good. They're drinking more, they're spending more money, they're going in the pots, they're having a good time, they're with their friends. There's nothing else better than that, you know? So I get that. We have certain leagues on certain nights that we run, the sport condition, and those are for those nights, and that's it. Other than that, I try to put out a fair shot for everybody. And if you're going to score, it's on you. But if you bowl bad, it's on you too. But if there's oil out there and there's a shot out there and we're all bowling on it, it's really okay. We all have to test our skill once in a while, right?
Yeah.
My analogy is you're not going to play the same golf course every single week if the greens are funneled to the cup. All you have to do is hit it
every day.
Anywhere on that green, it's going to funnel to the cup. That's going to get boring, right? So why should it be the same in what we do? If it's something different or it's changed a little bit, we have to, use our skill set. Yeah, figure it out.
I mean, I must have used every ball in my bag.
Right.
I moved my feet. I played a way that I'm uncomfortable playing. But the point is, we kept adjusting. And big shout out to TK, one of our family members who shot 628 and literally inspired all of us to where it's like, well, shit, if TK can figure it out, why the fuck can't I figure it out? And we just kept grinding and gritting and
not only that, we had fun.
And most importantly, having fun.
And that's
I feel
the end
like,
of the day, right?
Yeah.
It was a bad night on the lanes for most, but if you can turn around and make that fun because you're with your family or you're with your friends, like that's how I sell it. I sell it because you're bowling with your boys and you're out for the night and it's whatever. Yeah, the guys that aren't making money are the guys that are going to be upset. And I get that, but at the same time, you got to look at the whole picture. Look at the place you're bowling in. It's not like I don't have doors on the stalls in the bathroom or anything like that.
It's a beautiful place, man.
That's what I look at, But at the end of the day, the scoring pace pays the bills too. So, I have to do, I do have to make sure that that's on point. Unfortunate that an incident happens and you can't catch it until the next day.
Well, you've been, like you said, diligent on fixing that issue. So, you know, for those people out there that are saying, oh, what are we going to see this next week? You know, can we say that it'll be fixed, Tommy?
Yeah, absolutely.
See? And that's
Absolutely.
You know, that's why I wanted to have this episode and to have this show to show that, you know, just how much you care about this place. And, you know, I know me personally, when I looked at some of the comments and people just, you know, trashing this place and, you know, saying just such terrible things, you know, I just know how that made me feel to where I wanted to make this episode. So on your end, Tommy, when you're seeing the comments that you did about Thursday night, just honestly, how'd that make you feel?
Yeah, you know, it's that separation again. It's all right. You know what? He's not so much my boy tonight because I didn't have a good night out on the lane. So I don't look at it like that. I look, you're my friend, or we're talking, we're having a good time. It's going to be that way every time you see me. You know, if you had a bad night, I apologize, but at the same time, you know, somewhere along the line, you have to take responsibility and bowl. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You know, and I take a lot of heat, and I just brush it off, and it's just how I am. And, you know, it bothers me. I lose sleep over it. Trust me, I lose a lot of sleep over it because I'm always trying to make everybody happy. But that's the first thing that my dad taught me that you're not going to be able to do is make 200 people happy in a night. There's always going to be something. There's always going to be someone. And, you know, the crazy thing is I think back to that night, and I remember holding the door for a guy coming in. He had 6 bowling balls with him. So there's a problem with not one of those 6 bowling balls worked that night for him.
Yeah.
You know, so the stuff that gets said on Facebook, it's or whatever, or wherever I read it, it's whatever. It's, you know, if you know the final answer of the day is if you know me, I'll take care of it.
Oh,
you know, I can't backtrack and give everybody their money back. It just doesn't work like that. You know, it's there's something that needed to be done, and we fixed it. So that's what I do.
And I think, again, to those people that do spend that $32, $33, whatever the lineage is, you know, I think it's important for people to know that, you know, whatever issue that we had faced on Thursday night, it will be fixed. And, you know, that's just a testament as to who Tommy is, to what this place Majestic is, and, you know, why we love bowling in this league. I mean, you got people that run the pots that they do, you know, Sarah, Rocco, you know, I don't know some of the guys' names, but a lot of people do. Yeah, Joe Lamp, the geriatric pot, you know what I'm saying? My dad loves that pot, you know
Listen,
what I'm saying?
there's the lineage fee is $17. That's for the 3 games. The difference, the $15, is prize fund. That gets 100% return back to the league bowlers. That's how you come up with that $105,000, $110,000 prize money.
Yeah.
You know, that gets split up amongst the 40 teams. So, you know, it's a big thing. You know, and I keep saying support your local pro shop. You know, Chris Fisher's the type of guy that'll just come out of nowhere and he'll step out of the office and do what he's got to do on the lanes, and he'll put the right ball in your hand, and it's just the type of guy that he is. So, you know, shout out to him too. He's my go-to guy when I have an issue. Like
Facts.
thick and thin, he'll help me with the problem. He's that type of guy. So,
Hey,
you know,
I tell you what, man, like I said, with having the great pro shop that you do, having the great lanes, we can't forget about the bar too. I mean, come on.
listen, good drinks, beer's cold.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's the thing, you know, Tommy is such a nice guy, and this is my last story because I know you do have to get back to work, Tom. But, you know, one of the great things and a great reflection of who you are, man, is, you know, I remember I was out there on Thursday night. It was literally one of the Thursdays before we went on Christmas break, and Tommy's at the bar, and one of them goes, Barry, what do you want? What do you want to drink, man? You know, it's a little gesture like that, but I promise you this. At Bolero, I ain't get a drink bought from me. At Parkway, I ain't get a drink bought from me. At Jersey Lanes, I ain't get a drink bought for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of family feel, that type of, you know, that's what makes me come to Majestic. Not that Tommy brought me a beer, but it's the fact that Tommy acknowledges me as someone on his level. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's like, I'm the owner and you're this person. No. He wants everybody to understand just how awesome this place is, and he treats everyone with respect. And that's why, again, when I saw the things that I saw being said, and I just wanted to shed you in a positive light, man, because, you know, that 100th episode people still talk about to this day.
Yeah, man, that was great.
You know, and hopefully we can have our 300th episode here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Tommy,
man,
for coming
absolutely.
on here on
Thanks
the show,
for having me.
man.
Thanks for having me.
You know, for anybody out there that's like, trying to start their own business or, trying to do something, as far as going off and creating something of their own, what's something you can give them a piece of advice that they can take with them, Tommy?
What got me through college was the old saying was C's get degrees. And I kind of used that, like, I was never the book smart guy, but I figured out if I can get to know people and pick people's brains and get anything positive out of somebody that may be smarter than me or know more than me, take that little bit of knowledge and turn it into something that's going to help my pocket or help my family business. That's just something that I like to follow.
Yeah.
So if there's any bit of advice coming from somebody, I always listen. Ears are always open.
Hey guys, so you heard it first. Make sure you don't fumble the bag. Seize that opportunity when it comes, and then always listen, because there's people out there that may have a little bit of information that's useful to you, man. So, once again, thank you so much, Tommy, for making this episode as special as it was, man.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for everything you do for Majestic, and I know me personally, I don't want to go to Greenbrook anymore. I love coming here. You know what I'm saying? So, to those people out there that were a little frustrated, don't worry about it. Thursday night was Thursday night. It's going to go right back to Majestic, regular scheduled program, right? So thank you guys so much. I love you all.
Talk that talk!
Big shout out to Tommy Martino one more time for coming here on the show. I love you all. See you next week.